Hi everybody, Coulter Brown here from the Northern Ag Network. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, enjoying some fellowship with friends and family, and hopefully some great food too. Well, the Montana Grain Growers 69th Annual Convention is coming up next week, December 3rd through the 5th in Great Falls. Toole County farmer Klayton Lohr serves as vice president of the Montana Grain Growers, which means he's in charge of planning the convention. I caught up with Klayton recently, and he told me that for the second year in a row, they're going to be back at the Pacific Steel and Recycling Arena there in Great Falls.
Yeah, so we're back in that new venue and looking forward to seeing everybody. You know, one of the big things to highlight is I took a real focus on mental health and motivation this year. I said after 4 bad years on my farm, agronomy, boy, it doesn't mean much to me at the moment. It's all about what's going on up in our own heads. Tuesday and Wednesday morning, starting off right away with motivational speakers, and following our dinner and mental health speaker on Wednesday, I'm having karaoke and a full bar there in the Four Seasons Arena. So if anybody out there wants to tell everybody you performed at the Four Seasons Arena, here's your chance.
Well, by the end of the year, every business registered with the state will have to complete beneficial ownership reporting information to comply with the Corporate Transparency Act. Bighorn County producer Gina Stevens is the chair of the Montana Farm Bureau's Tax Committee, and she told me that means every S Corp, C Corp, and LLC needs to report.
If you have registered your entity with the Secretary of State, you pretty much have to file this. And it's not just ag, it's anybody who is an entity of nearly any type. It doesn't cost a dime. It only takes you about 5 to 10 minutes. It is definitely an important thing to do, and it's a $571 a day fine starting January 1st if you do not.
Well, the National Ag Statistics Service completed their annual farm labor report. They found that nationally, the total number of farm workers is up 3% at just about 800,000. For farmers and ranchers, though, that means the cost of labor on their operation is still rising. In Montana and Wyoming, the average wage rate was $17.85 an hour. That's up 6.5% from a year ago, with employees working on average 45.5 hours per week. And cow-calf producers are looking towards the future pretty optimistically after we set new record highs for nearly every class of cattle this year. Much of the price rally has been supply-driven, which starts to beg the question, when are we going to begin to grow this cow herd and see prices come down? I asked that question of Lance Zimmerman, beef analyst with Rabo Research, and he said it could still be a few years before we start growing this cow herd.
The good news is we have stopped the cow herd liquidation. The challenge is we're not getting the herd rebuilding. We're not getting the heifer retention. We're not sending them to town at near the pace we were the last 2 years. And the reality is we're looking at 2025 as probably being another one of these stabilization years. It's going to continue to take some higher prices, and I think more importantly, some consistency in higher prices and consistency in weather patterns to really give the industry an incentive and really kind of a runway to feel comfortable taking off with the next herd expansion.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll be back to highlight the calf market and the bred cow market after this.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Talking with someone that you know is stressed out, those are difficult things to approach, but if you're good friends with those people, reach out and say, I'm here to talk to you. We can find somewhere to get some assistance. It's hard to get involved, but at the same time, you want to just say, hey, there is help available.
For more tips in dealing with stress in agriculture or for free counseling for egg producers, visit beyondtheweather.com.
Well, thanks for sticking around for the markets. You know, the feeder cattle futures have been on quite a run this fall. In just the last 3 weeks, we've seen January feeders climb about $18. You go back to early September and we're up more than $30. Feels like fairly fundamental-based trade with tightening supplies of cattle and feed yards maintaining profitability, so they're able to pay more for calves, and we're certainly seeing those feeder futures climb. Now this week the market did get some disruption from the announcement of a case of screwworms found in Mexico that resulted in USDA halting Mexican live cattle imports, which could leave a gap to fill in southern feed yards. Holiday beef buying has taken hold, and with better consumer demand, we're also seeing boxed beef work higher. Well, bred cow sales are starting to pick up. Montana Livestock Auction held a big stock cow sale this week with a very active market. Bred heifers from $2,100 to $2,850. The young bred cows $2,200 to $3,300. 5 to 7-year-old cows topping out at $3,150, and the running age cows all the way up to $2,450. Steady to higher prices on the calves in Miles City with a lot of demand for wean calves. 4-weight steers topped out at $433 on the lighter end. Most of the upper 4 weights $355 to $380. 5 to 5.5 weight steers $334 to $348, topping out there at $360. And the bottom fell out of the winter wheat market on Wednesday. No real fundamental change. Southern Hemisphere wheat harvest is advancing, and the market has been pressured by recent moisture. Did see another sale of U.S. wheat to South Korea as we continue to see improved export demand from last year's 50-year low. The recent surge in the dollar index has somewhat abated this week, but just not helping the market much. We closed Wednesday with December hard red winter wheat at $526, spring wheat at $565. Well, that's going to do it for this morning's Northern Ag TV. Thanks much for joining us. I'm Colter Brown. Have a good one.